Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about the top 3 fights this weekend that have big implications or kind of being overlooked. Whether it's the stacked card, whether it's the stuff that happened last weekend with Adesanya, KO, and Pereira. But today, the first one we're talking about, Brendan Royval versus Matthias Nicolai. Huge implications in this one. You could see Matthias Nicolai fighting for the title if he wins this. You could see Brendan Royval being really, really close to a title shot. Maybe not there yet. But again, there's a lot of implications with this fight. It's a #1 contender, I believe. And with Royval having a fight over Moreno, if Moreno wins, and kind of a weird loss on that one, but broke his wrist in there, couldn't block, and then he gets finished by ground and pound. Alejandro Pantoja was one where he kind of was dominated on the ground and was submitted by a rear naked choke. And Matthias Nicolai, and he's in Brendan Royval's 4-2 in the UFC, and those were his 2 losses. Not bad losses, to be honest. And then Matthias Nicolai at 29 or 30 years old now. Super young, been around a long time. 8 fights in the UFC, he's 7-1. And his 1 loss in the UFC is against Dustin Ortiz. And Dustin Ortiz isn't in the UFC no more. And after that fight, he was cut. Went and came back, won 2 fights out of the UFC, and came back and fought Manel Kape, won by decision, split. Tim Elliott, David Dorovic, when David Dorovic was on a crazy win streak, he comes back and he beats him, and then he destroys Matt Schnell, destroys him, looks really, really good. And, I'm not going to tell you my thoughts on the fight particular, but this fight, because I have a video up talking about it, but this fight I think is being overlooked. Great matchup. Very curious to see what Royval's game plan is going to be against a guy like Nicolai. But that is my thoughts on that one. Next is Pedro Munoz versus Chris Gutierrez. I think some people are counting out Pedro Munoz because of the losing streak he's on right now. And I guess, it is what it is. I guess you can say, yeah, but Pedro Munoz, his last couple fights, look who he's fought. Jesus, he's 9-7 and 2 no contest in the UFC, but look who he's fought. He lost a decision to Dominic Cruz, lost a decision to Jose Aldo, beat Jimmy Rivera, lost a close fight against Frankie Edgar. He could have possibly won that. And then lost against Aljamain Sterling when he was 18-3, and Sterling was 17-3 right before the title shot. And again, before that, he beat Cody Garbrandt, Brian Caraway, Brett Johns when Brett Johns was coming up. Lost the decision, split decision against John Dotson, but again, there's nothing there to hold your head down. Again, he may be having a rough time right now, being 2-4 in his last 6 fights and 1 no contest against Sean O'Malley. But Pedro Munoz is still really, really good. Now, going to Chris Gutierrez, who's 19-3-2, 7-fight win streak, is only 31. He's 7-1-1 in the UFC, and that 1 loss is against Ronnie Barcelos' rear naked choke on the Ultimate Fighter finale almost 5 years ago. And he's looked great since. Ryan McDonald, he beat Geraldo De Frontes, split decision, close fight. Vince Morales, he destroyed. Cody Durden was a draw. Andre Ewell, he beat Felipe Corrales. Batgarao Dana, he spoiled his hype, knocked that hype train down, and then was some reason put in there against Frankie Edgar for Frankie's retirement fight. I just think there's so much implications. Like if Pedro Munoz can somehow beat Gutierrez, he's right back there in title talks. And if Chris Gutierrez can actually finish someone who hasn't been finished ever, I think it does so much more than what people are actually talking about. Again, finishing Pedro Munoz, it would mean a whole lot more than Chris Gutierrez getting a decision close back and forth fight. If he can finish Munoz, we're probably talking about the next title contender right here. And then last but not least, obviously, I think is Max Holloway versus Arnold Allen. I think this fight's going under the radar simply because Max Holloway, his last 3 losses are against Alexander Volkanovski. It seems like he can beat everybody except that one. I did think Max won the second one. Close fight, not a robbery, but I did think he won. And then you've seen how much better Volkanovski's gotten in that 3rd fight. And just, I don't know what if Max wins this fight. Where does he go? You know, if he loses, he could go up to lightweight, but I can't imagine them having them fight again. I just don't know what more you could do. But those are my thoughts. And if Allen can win this fight and make it decisive, if he could like finish Max somehow, he might be the #1 contender to fight whoever wins against Volkanovski and Yair Rodriguez. But again, those are my thoughts. Let me know if you guys agree, if you disagree. Subscribe to the channel. All 3 of these fights are going to be awesome. I can't wait for these ones. I think they're crazy matchups, really good matchups, some sleepers. Oh yeah, I can't wait for Saturday. But let me know what you guys think. As always, you guys know what it is. Subscribe, like, comment. Let's talk about it. Peace.